right, well, here we go. By virtue of his seed, he is first seed. Ryan's going to get to go first. It looks like he does have Fetch Land and Deathrite Shaman. I can't... Oh, it's hard to tell. It's a black card in his hand. No, he's going to ship it back. I didn't have a Deathrite Shaman. And I think that's exactly what he wants on the play here. I think it can't... Like, his position can't be any better. But he needs a Deathrite Shaman. Let's see what happens over here. But basically, Ryan went undefeated through 4 rounds, double drew, once against Andrew Sun, once against, I believe it was Francis Solona, who we just saw fall in the top 8 to Mike Kravitz, you know. So Grixis Delver having a pretty good day today. It's one of the most represented decks in the metagame today. The first was Burn, second was Lands, and then Grixis Delver ad nauseam. And there's a bunch of them at 2 copies apiece. So Grixis Delver, ad nauseam Tendrils, Esper Delver. I mean, a couple of them. But basically, we're here going to 6, and all Ryan wants to see is a Deathrite Shaman. He found it, and he found a castable land, and he found the land that he actually needs. It's not a good hand by any means, but it's keepable. So he has to scry. What does it look like? It's not a fetch land, is it? It's debatable. If it's a fetch land, it turns on the rest of the hand, but turns on is a loose term here. He doesn't have any cantrips. He doesn't have much interaction with Dredge beyond this Deathrite Shaman. So, I mean, this is basically the perfect mulligan. Well, no, it's a good mulligan, I should say. Leading Deathrite Shaman super strong here. Looks like we're going to lose 1 life off Cephalic Oslium. That's typically what happens. We're going to get that. That's going to get dazed. Yeah. Ryan, very familiar with how this matchup is supposed to be played out. Draws his card. It's a fetch land. There's no Dredger in the bin yet, but I don't think Ryan could take that risk. He can, however, Wasteland. And that might be pretty good. Dredge very famous for not having many lands to begin with. Excuse me. This could prove really difficult, but Ryan somewhat opens the door for Joe to put a Dredger in the bin. Let's see if that... Oh, actually, even worse, he has a Cephalid Coliseum anyways. Ryan tried to put the Soul Read on him. Looks like our 2 competitors are joking around a little bit. Joe thinks about it. Passes the turn? Question mark? Yep. It's like, what does this do again? Yeah, Cephalid Coliseum, a very powerful engine in the Dredge deck. It requires a 2nd mana or an LED to turn on. LED would actually be very, very good for Joe right here. It's going to help him play around Daze. But, I mean, that really depends on kind of the texture of the game. Like, how does it play out? And, yeah, Ryan correctly identifying, he wants this tropical island in play before any other land. It's going to allow him to eat dredgers and get value that way. There are no other dredgers that aren't creatures, is essentially what it comes down to. Now, a breakthrough could be fairly huge for Joe, but the biggest issue, there aren't any dredgers in the bin currently. So if Joe goes for... Oh, Ryan's just trying to keep Joe off threshold, basically. He's going to get a red. He's got a lightning bolt straight at Joe's face. This is an aggressive turn of events, to be honest with you. There's a lot going on here that Ryan has to do because A, he's a mulligan to 6, and he drew 3 lightning bolts. I mean, like, the game plan seems fairly clear. He has, let's see, he has a volcanic in hand, so it's likely that this polluted delta could get Underground Seed to start activating this Deathrite Shaman because he has just enough burn to kind of go to Joe's face, and then and like some incidental damage, not incidental, but damage from this Deathrite Shaman will be really good. But Faithless Looting, a pretty big one here for Joe. He's going to lose 1, go to 14. This is just speeding up this clock that Ryan's got going. But yeah, definitely needs... Okay, he's going to put 2 Dredgers in the bin right now. And Ryan's only going to be able to deal with 1. This is a sticky situation. What does Joe decide to put in the bin? Yeah, mulliganing to Deathrite Shaman is basically Ryan's free win here on the play. On the draw, it's a little bit different. Joe's going to get potentially at least at least one dredge off before the Grixis Delver player untaps with Deathrite Shaman, but we'll see. All right, so first things first, let's go ahead and eat. Yep, eat Big Daddy Golgari Troll, Grave Troll. You know, and managing Joe's graveyard is in different ways important. Like turning off Threshold obviously is a big deal. Also, you know, removing dredgers is the obvious part, but like getting some of these flashback spells, that's important too, because one way that Dredge can kind of like make its way out of this situation, honestly, is just through LED. LED is going to provide a ton of advantage for him. It's going to put all the dredgers that are currently in Joe's hand on the battlefield, or I mean, in the graveyard, and then it's going to allow him to cast back this Faithless Looting. Little does Ryan know, there is a second one in Joe's hand, so there are a couple things he has to worry about, but overall, I would say, not very many. And Joe is playing this pretty well. He's also going to be able to get his Cephalid Coliseum online, which again is enabled through Threshold. But it looks like, yeah, Ryan's just going to go ahead and eat this Golgari Thug right now, which is appropriate. But now he's tapped out. Essentially, there is what's that blue spell? That's a Stifle. Okay, there's a couple things there that could happen. That's a big deal. All right. Another Mana Confluence for Dredge. At this point, I would say he's flooded. There's an LED, actually, right? Saw an artifact. I don't think they play any other artifacts besides Lion's Eye Diamond. So, oh no, that's a Faithless Looting. I think the color is just kind of off. Joe goes to 13. Again, once more, accelerating this clock. Faithless Looting. Draw 2. Put 2 in the bin. Oh, that's a Careful Study. Is it not? Or is it's at least... Alright, so Ryan had a slight disadvantage here. I mean, he had to. There's basically no choice. So there's 5 in the bin currently. No Threshold quite yet. Deathrite Shaman is not going to be able to get both Dredgers. And... is that a Breakthrough or a Careful Study? Debating which land to tap. Yep, going to take 1 here. Go to 12. Breakthrough. All right. He's not paying for anything extra, it looks like. But I do believe on Cephalid Coliseum, he's going to need... he's going to need an extra blue to activate it, so he can't do it this turn. Oh, well, that's not true. If he finds Lion's Eye Diamond, he has quite a few cards in hand. So we'll see how this ends up going. So Dredge first. Here comes a Grave Troll. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Boom. That's a pretty good Dredge. Didn't find an extra Dredger, but that's a good setup for these following turns. That's another Dredger. All right. There's an LED. That's not going to be of much use. All right. And here's another one. Wow, actually, these dredges have not panned out at all for Joe. There are no extra dredgers in the graveyard and no Ichrids, but there is 1 Prized Amalgam and 1 Bridge from Below. That's interesting. Joe will draw his 4th card, and then he'll discard quite a few. Oh, so he's going to discard his whole hand, including... including the We'll go Grave Troll here, and there's a ton of Dredgers, and he has an online. His Cephalid Coliseum is online. Ryan, however, does have a Stifle, so that's good for him. But Joe is going to have access to Icarid here pretty soon. Young Pyro is the draw. Don't think that's good enough. Don't think that's good enough. I think Ryan, unfortunately, has to choose between eating at least a Grave Troll here. Actually, maybe he has no choice. He has to... The Troll has to end up getting dredged, and then the Coliseum needs to get stifled. But even that might not be enough. It just depends on how good this Grave Troll trigger is. Maybe, okay, so I think you have to eat... No, you don't eat Putrid Imp. So I think you have to eat Grave Troll regardless. And then... no, it's not even worth it. There's just so many Dredgers. Joe's going to... And the problem is you can't... yeah, Ryan has to play around so much here. But how does he win? And Ryan can't even... He can't even really play this... Because he has to stifle the Cephalid Coliseum. Pretty unfortunate for Ryan. I don't think there's a choice here. He's going to... Yeah, it looks like Joe's going to go ahead and get the Icarid trigger at the very least. Prize Amalgam is going to come back end of turn. Yeah, this is probably the way he loses. Icarids are honestly Joe's preferred way of winning anyways. Or just value beats, basically. So here comes, oh man, double Cabal Therapy and another bridge. That might be game. Yeah, that might be game. For those of you who are kind of like looking at the screen and be like, what is going on here? This is how Dredge plays out. It just, the massive card advantage he gets from having both a hand and a graveyard, and then seeing basically half your deck on turns 2 and 3, that's what it does. And yeah, some decks aren't really like concerned with how it does that, but it has a bunch of disruption. It has Cabal Therapies and Narcomoebas, and it has Faithless Looting to kind of generate, to get its engine going. It's just really... Yeah, this is rough. Here comes the Icarid. Barrels in for 18. I mean, what is Joe gonna do if Joe blocks? He basically he can't win. I'm sorry, if Ryan blocks, he just, oh man, this is super bad. All right, so we're gonna Cabal Therapy Ryan. We're gonna get two triggers off bridge here, 2 zombies. And I think, yeah, Ryan's in a tough spot. He's just like, this is going to the head. You go to 6, buddy. I mean, there's a potential that Joe is probably dead to straight up to this Deathrite Shaman. So he has to kind of name correctly here. Oh, no, he doesn't have to name. He has 2 zombies. So he can get the Stifle and then crack his Coliseum, but then he'll go to 5. It's still a 2-turn clock, even with this Deathrite Shaman. But if his dredges pan out, that could be really powerful. All right. So we got Stifle. Stifle and this Pyromancer. And that's already 3 lightning bolts. So I think Joe is pretty highly incentivized to try to go off here with like a Dread return or something to try to kill Ryan next turn. Oh, he can actually. I don't know if Ryan would. I don't know if Ryan would eat the Dread return target. He might just be single-mindedly focused. All right, take the Stifle. All right, what are we going to eat? Oh, no. He's going to eat the last Cabal Therapy, putting Joe to 4. All right, so Joe needs to go off right now. All right, there goes the Stifle. All right, and now... Yeah, now Joe needs to go off right this second. He could go for, like, a little more... No, actually he can't. He can't tap both his Confluences. He has to go for this Colosseum. So he's going to take 1, goes to 3. Crack the Colosseum. First Dredge. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So Narcomoeba is going to come into play. Second one. So that's a Dread return. Is that enough to win, however? I mean, another Bolt off the top also wins it for him. All right, that's a second Narcomoeba. That's a pretty good Dredge. That's fairly. I mean, that's really good. We're gonna get both prize amalgams are coming into play at the end here, and Joe has like almost nothing left in his graveyard. Does he? I don't know if I'm pretty sure Joe's not on the. Is he on it? The zealous, whatever that guy is. I can't remember his name. The guy that gives all your zombies +1/+1 in haste. That's not going to happen. So there's a Dread return happening right now. But what is it good against? What does it do? I mean, he can make an infinitely large Grave Troll, but it's not going to matter. Sack these. Get 4. Oh, is Ryan just dead next turn? How many bridges? It's 1, 2... Oh, it's 3 bridges. Oh, my God. That's crazy. Gets an Icarid back. Because when that dies, he'll get even more zombies. Wow, okay. I think this is going to be enough. Sack this. Get 3 more zombies. And then I'll get my end step amalgams. 1, 2. There we go. All right. Ryan's going to need to find Lightning Bolt here. Lightning Bolt's the only thing that saves him. Man, on this mold of 6, it was so sick, too. That was also a risky attack from Joe. Like, I don't know if I snap block with the Deathrite Shaman, but if I'm getting 2 bridges, I might do it. Just to be honest with you. But how can you know the dredges? Like, you can't predict that kind of stuff. Wow, what a crazy game. Joe beats a turn 1 Deathrite Shaman just barely, by 1 life. Beats it by 1 life. And there's how many Icarids coming back right now? 1... Oh my God, don't tell me that's the only Icarid in the graveyard. Oh no, there's 2. Okay, cool. I was going to say, I was like, that's ridiculous. That 1 Icarid has done all this work. Ponder. Yeah, because Ryan knows he can't win this way. Ryan needs to find Lightning Bolt. That's the only draw that matters. Fork Bolt. Oh, Fork Bolt's enough. That is awful. Fork Bolt you, eat a thing. Oh my gosh, Joe just barely won that. Oh, wow. Ryan must be... Wow, Ryan must be crazy right now. Oh man, that ponder was crazy. And he tapped the right lands and everything. I mean, Ryan knew he couldn't win that way. He couldn't win by eating guys. Oh, look at that. That's crazy. That is nuts. All right, well, we're going to go on to game 2. Ryan Slone from the jaws of defeat. And Joe's... Oh, man, Joe played hard, too. Joe played hard to get to that position. I mean, granted, you don't have to play super hard when you're dredging. I mean, it's kind of... That's what happens. But at the same time, he... Yeah, I mean, he... That's hard. That's a hard loss. All right, but hopefully he shakes it off and we get a good game 2. Like I said, both these players, very strong Magic players. I don't think I can stress that enough. Joe Moreno, you know, not enough accolades can be sung. He is a dredge specialist, known pretty far and wide, has won an open with this deck. Yeah, crazy stuff. And then Ryan, really good too. I mean, he hasn't gone to very many like GPs or opens necessarily specifically for Legacy, but he does well enough in the local area and a solid Magic player. Did made a few mistakes in this particular match, but you could even say his mistakes led him to win in this particular in that particular way. So it is what it is. Moving on to sideboards, Ryan Sloane's got access to 2 Grim Lavamancer, an Ancient Grudge, 2 Flusterstorm, 1 Pithing Needle, 2 Pyroblast, 2 Surgical Extraction, a Diabolic Edict, 1 Engineered Explosives, 3 Cabal Therapy. I like a good amount of those. I mean, I don't mind Grim Lavamancer. I don't mind Surgical Extraction. Engineered Explosives could be very good. Those are all reasonable Magic cards. I think there's some number of these that the ones I just mentioned in specific could come in. I may not be seeing the value in Pithing Needles so much, but maybe there's value in it. We'll see. As for Joe, what? Maybe Joe can bring in some... Okay, let's talk about it. So 2 Ancient Grudge, a Dread Return, 3 Chain of Vapor, 4 Fairy Macabre, an Ashen Rider, Iona, and Contagion. So I think Ashen Rider being a big, huge threat that Ryan can't deal with is probably pretty good. I also don't mind Iona naming blue. That's reasonable. Chain of Vapors is like okay. There's not really a lot of hate pieces that the Grixis player brings in necessarily. So it doesn't have to worry so much about that. I mean, we know deck lists, or I should say these players know each other's deck lists. So yeah. Yeah, I'm not 100% sure. I think I like Dread Return. As they move on to sideboards, guys, I just want to mention thank you again so much for watching the stream. I really appreciate any and all support. Tweet it out. Let people know. We're playing Legacy here. How often do you guys get to see this at all, really? I mean, traditional Legacy is not really a format that gets played a lot at the highest level. And seeing it on stream is something that, you know, is very rare in these days. I mean, maybe seeing it on Moto every now and again. Popeye Stompy maybe doesn't really get enough credit necessarily, but in general, I think it's a rarity that needs to be recognized. So thank you again for being here. Thank you. We really appreciate any and all support. Please like, follow, subscribe at FAD Games. That's going to be YouTube, Twitter, and Facebook. Just let the people know. You know, that's what's happening here. But Joe is going to be on the play here, where he's pretty far ahead when he's on the play. It's going to be a tough one for Ryan to beat, even if he has a Deathrite Shaman opener. That's just the nature of it. And if Joe had stolen that game, oh my gosh, that would have been so sick. But not showing any bias here. Ryan played exactly how he needed to play, I think, to win that game, because even eating the Icarid puts him off by a turn to kill Joe the way that he killed Joe. So, pretty hard. But moving into the sideboards now, it looks like Joe's fairly ready He's gonna take out a couple cards. He's like, I don't know. I know I don't want these. And it looks like he is. Oh, he's bringing in. Is that Contagion? Yeah, Contagion is. I totally forgot about that card. We should back up a little bit and go talk about Joe's sideboard. Contagion's great. It is in the same cycle as Force of Will, Pyrokinesis, and Contagion. Obviously, I don't think there was. Oh, there was a green one. I just can't remember it off the top of my head. But basically, Joe exiles a black card from his hand, and he gets to apply -1, -2 counters to, I believe, 2 creatures, up to 2 creatures. Let's actually bring it up right now. Contagion is, yeah, instant. Costs 5 normally, but you may pay 1 life and exile a black card, and it says distribute. Oh, it's the other way around. It's -2, -1 counters among 1 or 2 target creatures. So, yeah, it's going to help you kill things like Delver. It's going to help you kill things like Young Pyromancer, and eventually, if you have 2 of them, it's going to kill Deathrite Shamans as well. So, Contagion's a sweet one. Again, it's in that it's in that cycle of that alliance cycle. Alliance's cycle of Force of Will and Pyrokinesis. And it sees a lot less play, but it's still very good. Contagion is going to be really good in this matchup. I think Ryan is probably going to board out his 2, not Grimmack Anglers, those are fine. But the other ones, the True Name Nemesis. Sorry, a little tongue-tied, guys. It's been a long day. But probably boarding out his True Name Nemesis. They're kind of slow in the matchup, and it forces you to tap out, where you could be holding up mana for Deathrite Shaman activations or, like, you know, any amount of interaction, because I think Ryan just wants to contain the Dredge threat in as much as possible. Basically, it's all going to come down to what draw spells can Ryan counter, and that's basically what it's going to come down to. So anything that's going to give Joe an explosive start, like if Joe goes Mana Confluence, if he goes Mana Confluence, Faithless Looting, LED, discard my hand, Faithless Looting, like that's the actual nut draw for Dredge, and who knows? Let's see what happens. And if that's the case, I mean, Joe can even lead LED first. That way, Ryan doesn't have a response to the Faithless Looting. You know, because if Joe goes Faithless Looting into LED, then Ryan can respond with Surgical Extraction, which he has 2 of. But, you know, Joe, knowing he doesn't need to play against any artifact-based hate, means that, you know, he doesn't have to bring in Ancient Grudge, which would be a super dead card right here. But, you know, looks like Ryan's hand, or I'm sorry, Joe's hand is a little... Oh, it's actually pretty good. And Ryan's going to ship his. Doesn't have a Deathrite Shaman, so shippity ship. This hand is not extremely explosive for Joe. It's also a little land heavy. It's got 3 lands in it, I want to say. It's got Cephalid Coliseum, 2 Mana Confluence, so... but yeah. Looks like Ryan in the middle of his mulligan, but Joe's hand look a little land heavy, but he doesn't mind. He has some mana sinks, obviously. The biggest one being Faithless Looting, or I guess the biggest one being Cephalid Coliseum. I don't know. Both of them are excellent mana sinks. Ryan's gonna have some form of disruption for at least Cephalid Coliseum, as we saw in the Stifle. Looks like he has 1 Stifle in his hand, and yeah, he sees no lands. It's just gonna go ahead and shuffle it up, and there's an honest chance that Ryan could multi 5, not see a Deathrite Shaman, multi 4, get Deathrite Shaman, and make it a game. Deathrite Shaman's so powerful in this matchup, on the play, of course, but even on the draw, if Joe has like kind of a middling hand, the Deathrite Shaman can go very far, but at this point, it's looking kind of grim. Going to 5 is hard. Looks like Ryan going to 5 here. Let's hope we get a game out of it. There's a Force of Will and a Ponder. I'm thinking that's okay. Looks like Faithless Looney's going to be Joe's start. Let's see where he gets him. Looks like turn 1 Deathrite Shaman for Ryan. Exactly what he wants to see, but his Faithless Looting got Force of Willed, so it does set Joe back quite a lot. Let's see what happens here. Joe's going to need to untap, or I'm just sorry, Ryan's going to untap here and do some crazy things. So Contagion. All right, so it's going to go ahead and kill this Deathrite Shaman. And then Ryan has a little bit of time. Exactly. He's going to go ahead and deploy this Narcomoeba. He has a little bit of time, so it's okay. Ryan is on a pretty heavy mole here, but he untaps with another Deathrite Shaman. And that's going to be pretty hard for Joe to beat without a second Contagion, but hopefully his draw yields something interesting. It does not. It's just another Mana Confluence, which is not what he wants to see here. This Narcomoeba can start crashing in the air, but very shortly... Oh, I guess Joe does have this Faithless Looting, so that's a thing. But he's going to need to untap and put like a lot of Dredgers into the bin. I mean, I don't know. And he's going to take 3 for it. It's a pretty rough spot for Joe, actually. I think Ryan got kind of lucky on this Mold 5. He found 2 Deathrite Shamans. What is that card? I can't quite tell what it is. Yeah, Joe feeling the hurt right now. He's going to go to 14. He's going to flash it back. Yeah. He's like, I'm going to weigh my odds. This is the best I can do. Oh, that's okay. All right, reasonable. He's going to get 1 Dredge here. Ryan's only going to be able to eat the 1. Passes the turn. Oh. He's going to attack first. Yeah, okay, fair enough. He's just like, oh, before that anything. Okay, cool. So, just, yeah. Ryan untaps with a Deathrite Shaman. It's like he just got a new lease on life. He's on 1 card. I know one of them is Force of Will. Yep, and the other is Fetch Land. He probably doesn't reveal that. He doesn't need more lands right now in play, and he's just gonna pass. But I think he has to hit one of the Dredgers. Nope, he disagrees. Stinkweed Imp. Okay. All right, so Ryan in a rough spot right now. Went from bad to worse almost. He's thinking... I guess he could Cabal Therapy here, but it's not very good. He's just going to see the Force of Will that Ryan can't cast anyways in his hand, and that's about it. Ryan going to get to untap, however, and eat 2 Dredgers. Or at the very least, he's going to eat the Grave Troll that's currently in the graveyard, and then eat the Stinkweed Imp. Getting for the beats. Putting Ryan to 18. Let's see. There's another Contagion in his hand, but he doesn't have... Oh, that's unfortunate. He doesn't have another black card. He just has to wait for it, it looks like. He's going to eat the Grave Troll. Yep. Eats the Grave Troll, goes to 20. So all that work that the Narcomoeba did, unfortunately not going to be good enough. And then Ryan's going to untap and then eat the Stinkweed Imp, and Joe is not going to have a Dredger. It's unfortunate. It's another land for Ryan. Oh man, he's drawn way too many of these. Delver of Secrets. I think Ryan just couldn't afford. Yeah, Ryan just couldn't afford to. Let's see here. Couldn't afford to hold up Force of Will. It's not going to do enough. Prized Amalgam. So Ryan has 2 cards in hand. One's a land, one's a Force of Will, and we can kill this. Oh, wait a second. Okay, there's a play here. He can kill the Deathrite Shaman and then Cabal and then attack Cabal Therapy himself and put the 2 Dredgers in the bin. Yep. Pays 1 life. Oh, actually, Joe's at less than that. Joe's at 12 right now because of a Contagion. All right, second Contagion resolves. Excellent. If I were Joe, I wouldn't get too excited. I'd definitely attack first. Yep. Every point of damage is going to matter from here on out because he's at 12. Oops. He's at 12, and then there's a There's a Delver of Secrets barreling right at him. All right, he puts the 2 Dredgers in the bin. C'est la vie. Here we go. All right, off to the races. Nope, a land off the top. Attack for 1. Ryan's turn's fairly easy. Not as much going on necessarily. All right, Dredge. There's another Cabal Therapy, Lion's Eye Diamond, Faithless Looting, Dread Return. Oh, 2 Faithless Looting. Okay, so it's gonna be pretty painful, but gonna be good. There is only 1 Dredger currently, but it's the biggest. It's the biggest and the best one. So let's see what happens. No Icarid still. There is a Dread Return, so there's a chance here. So yeah, Joe's gonna fall to 8. He's gonna cast this flashback Faithless Looting. Ryan looks at his hand. He's like, yeah, that resolves. First Dredge. 1, 2. There it is. There's another Dredger. All right, this is probably close to game. So he's going to get 1 more Dredge here off of this. There we go. Off of this Stinkweed Imp. It's only going to be 5, but there's an Icarid. There's a second bridge. Oh, and 3 Cephalid Coliseum, back to back to back. He's going to go ahead and put both of these Grave Trolls in the bin right now. Are there any black creatures for Icarid to eat? There's a Stinkweed Imp and a Prized Amalgam. Oh, no, there's a Thug. There's 1 Thug. No, there isn't. That's not a Thug. That's a Dread Return. All right. Got 2 bridges. Days. Hello. So Force of Will's live now, and so quickly with the swiftness, Mr. Ryan goes ahead and attacks with Delver of Secrets. All right. All right. He's going to go ahead and exile this gentleman, put this Icarid into play. Is there a chance? Is there a chance that the other Icarid comes into play? Or, no, never mind, there isn't. Okay, that's a 3rd bridge. That's another Icarid. Alrighty. A pretty good Dredge. He's going to need to resolve this, resolve something soon. So this first Icarid's going to attack. It's going to put Ryan to 17. Oh, wow. Actually, Joe can't reanimate here. Or, I'm sorry, Joe can't flashback the Faithless Looting. Oh, man. All right, get in. Put you to 17. Still has to play around like Lightning Bolt. Like that's a fair thing to play around. But he can't loot again. He literally just dies. So he has to sack this Icarid to Cabal Therapy. There's one. All right. Oh, there's two. He's going to get 3 zombies. It doesn't matter what Ryan does to respond to this. He's going to... Yeah, it's fine. All right, take the daze. All right. Oh, Joe named Force of Will. Interesting. Why would he not take... That's super interesting. Why would he not take Daze? Or why would he not choose the card that he knows about? Oh, I guess it doesn't matter. He could still do it. I'm sorry. I guess he could still do it. It doesn't really affect anything. So he's going to sack the 3. Don't tell me you're going to put Narcomoeba into play. Oh, this is crazy. So the Dread Return is going to target Narcomoeba. All right. Potentially? It might. I don't see that as particularly bad, but it might. We'll see. And then when Ryan attacks, the Narcomoeba blocks, he'll get 3 zombies. So... let's see how that goes. Prize Amalgam comes into play. Ryan untaps, finds a... What does Ryan find? Yeah, Ryan can't even attack with Delver. Oh, so crazy. I think he's... Is he on the Break Your Bridges plan? I don't think that's going to work. There's 2 Icarids in the bin. And a Prize Amalgam now. No, he's like, I got to go for it. If Joe doesn't block, yeah, Joe blocks. Joe's going to get 3 dudes. Okay, so Icarids come into play, and we've got... Oh, wow, there's a Narcomoeba and the 4th bridge, and this is probably close to game over, if not actually game over for Ryan. Joe just doesn't... If Joe just does not tap his mana, this is going to be good. Attack with the boys. Hey, what's that in the corner over there? How come we haven't seen that all game? What is that? Oh, that's a Prize Amalgam. Okay, so 3, 6, 9 plus 6 is 15. It puts Senior Slone down to a bunch. And 1 more zombie. Okay. And Ryan has 1... He doesn't have an out here, right? Oh, Fork Bolt. No, Fork Bolt doesn't do it either. All right, let's just go and scoop him up. Wow, okay. So that was a bit of a nail-biter for Joe. He took a ton of damage off his own Mana Confluence. And that's the game. So just a quick update, guys. On the other side of our semifinals, we had Andrew Sun versus Mike Kravitz. Mike Kravitz actually won that. He beat the Blood Moon deck. And Andrew Sun said he got pretty unlucky off of his Sin Prodders, but it's hard to sympathize. He's been running pretty hot with that deck, so it is what it is. All right, so Joe buys himself a 3rd game here. He's going to be on the draw. This is going to hurt quite a lot. This is where he's going to struggle. Even that last game he did struggle because again, triple Mana Confluence. What a beating. But yeah, that's what's gonna end up happening here. Ryan, on the other hand, looks like he shaved down a bunch of stifles, the Gitaxian probes, a daze. He might want those again now that he's on the play, but it could honestly go either way. Young Pyromancer I do quite like in this matchup. He can never attack with Icarids because it'll break the LEDs at no cost to Ryan. Like he just makes a token, blocks with it. Like it's so free. And then yeah, whereas for Joe, I mean, it probably ends up being that he doesn't like if he's faced against a young Pyromancer draw, he probably can't even attack into that, and he just has to let his bridges continue to make 2/2s until he can just overwhelm Ryan. Which is again, that's like the primary win condition for Dredge in the long game. He's not Joe's not playing a Flamekin Zealot, so he doesn't have like some crazy explosive turn where he kills you on the spot. He kills you over the course of like 2 turns. It's kind of like a little bit like Storm making a bunch of goblins with Empty the Warrens. So. See how this ends up going for these gentlemen. But, quick shout out to everyone watching the stream. Thank you guys so much. Really appreciate any and all support. Legacy. Come on. This is like the real deal here. We're casting Brainstorms and we're slinging Lightning Bolts in the same deck. I mean, there's no cleaner magic than that in my mind, I guess. And then on the other side, we've got Dredge. Those Narcomoebas coming into play for free. Pretty sick synergy overall with, the deck is just pure synergy, right? It's like mono-redundant pieces and pieces to put those pieces back into play. So that's what it is. But yeah, guys, give us a like, a follow, maybe even subscribe over here at Twitch. But also, on Facebook and why not? Go and follow us on Instagram and on YouTube. It's at FAD Games. That's pretty much everything. At FAD Games, you can follow us pretty much everywhere. And as our competitors move on from the semis, I mean, this is we've already got a guaranteed Grixis Delver player in the finals, so we could see a mirror. Just kind of depends on how everything plays out, right? But we're just about done here, and as the night wraps up, guys, thank you again so much. Really appreciate any and all support. We'll see how this ends up going, right? Alrighty. I guess if I'm Joe, I don't know how much I re-sideboard out. Like, maybe that's what he was thinking. I don't know. Probably not. Probably wants all those cards. As many cards as he can get. That's a Wasteland. It's a Git Probe. There is no Deathrite Shaman in that hand. Ryan, it would be ill-advised for Ryan to keep it, but it's powerful. Oh, actually, it doesn't have another land either. Okay, so Ryan's gonna ship that back. He's like, oh, why can't I keep a 7? But also, you can't keep a 7 because it doesn't have Deathrite Shaman. So you have a really powerful tool in this matchup, and it's shown its mettle twice now. And Joe had to have 2 Contagions before dealing with it, and that bought you quite a lot of time. Joe almost lost. So close. Yeah, and if Ryan goes the route of block your zombies or kill my Delver Secrets, I don't really see how he wins. Like, he'd need 2 bolts over the X amount of turns, and what's Joe doing? Joe's dredging. It's a lot of stuff that he had to deal with there. But play to his outs, I guess. He's like, yeah, I have to attack. And Joe has to block, so there's a Deathrite Shaman. 2 Deathrite Shamans. Oh, come on. The last card, does it cast it? It absolutely does. 2 Deathrite Shamans and a Lava Mancer. This is spicy. This might be the exact hand Ryan needs to beat his Dredge opponent. But it's going to be tough. He has to get Tropical Island off of this fetch land. And he has no choice. He has to. Scry is almost insignificant. Yeah, I was going to say, like, Scry doesn't matter, right? Deathrite Shaman, go ahead. Alright, Tropical Island, let's go. So Joe having once again to face the wrath of Deathrite Shaman. And even if he kills this one, there's another one in waiting in the wings. So it's kind of one of those nights for Joe. We see a Golgari Thug in his hand. But does Joe have the explosive LED starts? Maybe. Confluence to 19. It begins. Faithless looting. Ryan has nothing. Okay. We're going to put 2 dredgers in the bin at least. And if Joe drew like a LED there, cooking with gas. Put Stinkweed Imp Golgari Thug in the bin. And what's he doing? There it is. No? What is that? Oh, that's Contagion. I guess he could Contagion now. I think he has to, yeah. Contagion, exiling. Don't say Icarid. Okay, Cabal Therapy. It's like, please not. Please don't do that. So Joe falls to 18, and he's gonna get one of these dredgers is gonna be big. Deathrite Shaman, Grim Lavamancer. All right, let's go. Kill some things. Kill my own Grim Lavamancer might be a play if Joe's dredges hit a ton of bridges here. Like if it's 3 bridges, this Deathrite Shaman's killing itself. I'm sorry, this Grim Lavamancer is killing itself. But let's see if Joe lets it happen. All right, Joe. Joe moves to untap upkeep. He has a City of Traders. Oh, I'm sorry, City of Traders. He has a City of Brass in hand. A Cabal Therapy. Something else. All right, so Stinkweed Imp, boom, Narcomoeba immediately. Bridge from below. Double Faithless Looting. Not very good, actually, but could be decent. We'll see. I wonder what Joe chooses here. Does he have another dig spell in hand? Doesn't look like it. City of Traders first. Loses 1, goes to 17. Every single point matters. 1,000,000%. Every single point is going to matter. Cabal Therapy. Names himself. He's going to put Stinkweed Imp back. Yep. Then he's going to Cabal Therapy his opponent, get 1 zombie out of the deal. Names himself again, puts the Icarid. Oh, interesting. All right. Ryan draws a lightning bolt for his turn. Still no way to... All right, so there's a couple lines here for Ryan. He could eat a Dredger. He could eat this Icarid. Those are both reasonable. I mean, he could... Is he on the burn plan? Is another question. I don't think he is. No, I don't think he is. Without a black source, he's definitely not on the burn plan. I believe it's another volcanic in his hand, and it's a brainstorm. Okay, there's a couple things that could happen. So let's lead with that. Christopher Rush drew those himself, signed them himself. They got to be lucky, right? So there's a Pyroblast. Interesting. So we don't want the Pyroblast for sure. Let's go ahead and put that away, and we're going to keep this this fetch land. The fetch land's going to be strong. Because it's going to also continue to fuel this Grim Lavamancer. And wow, Ryan has a lot of burn. Too bad there's no Badlands in this deck. Jeez. And then if Joe really wants, he can just eat this Ichorid and try to prevent as much damage from coming at him as possible. That would not be unreasonable. However, I mean, because Joe already has 2 Dredgers, like even if Joe dredges 4, he could hit Grave Troll, and he's gonna have Faithless Looting next turn, regardless of what Ryan does. Because as we know, Ryan has nothing. He just has 2 bolts, which is not nothing, but it's not anything that Joe can interact with. And I think Ryan's gonna pass the turn. So upkeep. Oh wow, Joe has to make a huge decision here. Does he even want this Ichorid in play? He says he does. Oh, he's going to eat the Ichorid on upkeep with the trigger on the stack. All right, so Ryan, and that's going to pad Ryan's life total and allow this burn game plan to manifest. All right, cool. So Faithless Looting is super real here. Oh no, it's not, because he only has 2 lands. I thought he had the 3rd land. The Prize Amalgam's actually just a Prize Amalgam. Ryan takes 2, goes to 20. So we're going to get an untap. That draws the Pyroblast, which is interesting. Yeah, Ryan knew that too. Ryan knew that. Didn't need to draw it, but there it is, right? And now he has to deal with... Yeah, he has to deal with the double Dredger plan again. Yep, swing in. That's unfortunate. I actually don't even like that attack too much, but... I'm going to get a Dredge 5. There's nothing on upkeep. Dredge. Ryan says, yeah, you're fine. I think Ryan's committed to this. He's got double bolt, like, and Pyromancer, and an active Deathrite Shaman, so he doesn't have to do that much. All right, yeah, and Joe's explaining the way kind of Dredge works is like you can't target it. You can't target once Dredge kind of goes on the stack. You cannot target the creature that is being dredged. That's just like, yeah, it's just a replacement effect for drawing. So I think that's what he's explaining to Ryan right now. We're getting confirmation from the judge, perhaps. Yeah, and Ryan I think Ryan is settled. Yeah, he's fine. Wow, this is a good dredge. It's a good dredge, but the problem is Joe doesn't have a way to add additional... Yeah, he just doesn't have a way to add additional things to the table. And I think Ryan's going to win on these burn spells. It's going to be a close one, but I think Ryan's going to win on these burn spells. All right, fetch land down to 17 because he did get attacked by the zombie. This Zambino. I think Ryan wants to go ahead and eat... I guess he could eat Faithless Looting. It's not like super important. Yeah. But yeah, he's going to eat Faithless Looting on the off chance something crazy happens, but Joe falls to 14. Draws, Force of Will, not a very good draw. But we've got a lot of big things happening. I mean, Joe has got a very anemic draw. Ryan could potentially take a turn off to eat this Golgari Grave Troll just to kind of stymie Joe a little bit, but it seems unnecessary. I think he's got quite a bit of burn in his hand. Yeah, looks like that's what's actually going to happen. And Joe might be sniffing it out. He's like, oh man, I hope he doesn't have anything here. But I mean, is there a chance Joe moves to a draw step to just hit a land? That can't possibly be happening, right? Untap, upkeep, draw. Joe's weighing the benefits of this Golgari Grave Troll versus just drawing a land. He's like, I know he knows the consistency of his deck. I mean, an LED would be sick here. LED would be so savage. He's moving to draw step. I think so, yeah. He finds a land? What was that? Moves to attacks. Puts Ryan to 15. This is not the clock he's looking for. All right, Ryan eats another Faithless Looting. Puts him to 12. Eats 2 cards out of his own bin. Puts Joe to 10. Oops, not 20, 10. There we go. Puts Joe to 10. He draws Daze. Okay, so this is a lot of things. Ryan's in a pretty good spot. Yeah, looks like this Grim Lava Monster has to attack. Yep, puts Joe to 9. And he has double Bolt here. Joe has to have like one of the biggest Dredge turns. Finds a bridge. Yeah, just like there's no way I can win. And Joe falls 2-1 to Ryan Slone. We've got a Grixis mirror in the finals, guys. Crazy, crazy stuff. Well, thanks so much for following us so far. We'll be back for the finals.